Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches a todos, ¿cómo están? Espero que se encuentren muy bien. Muchas gracias por estar presentes el día de hoy en el seminario especial con University of Auckland y su representante a nivel LATAM, Shane Ball. ¿Qué tal, Shane? Muchas gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy, esta tarde. Buenos días para ti en jueves ya en Nueva Zelanda. Queremos dar las gracias a ti y a nuestros asistentes que tienen el tiempo de conectarse. Antes de iniciar, me gustaría saber si nos escuchan bien, si nos ven bien, cualquier prueba de audio, ¿no? O de video, que si me la pudieran notificar vía el chat, por favor. Saludos, Mauricio, Geraldine, Rosa Margarita, Leonardo, Abraham, ¿qué tal? Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Estamos dando un par de minutos en lo que se siguen conectando las personas al seminario. Por cierto, quiero hacer mención de que la presentación se dará en inglés. Al final vamos a tener una sección de preguntas y respuestas, obviamente para hacer algunas aclaraciones, para ver los programas que es de su interés, cualquier duda que hayan tenido acerca de la presentación. Y también hacer mención que antes de comenzar con la presentación vamos a hacer un display de un video. Dura 1 minuto y medio, relativamente corto, solo para que sepan cómo va, ¿no? Todo. Entonces, sin más ni menos, le cedo la palabra a Shane. Shane, whenever you want to start, please be free.
Okay, thanks, Christian. Muchas gracias por la invitación y un saludo para todos allí en la Ciudad de México. Voy a dar la presentación en inglés porque yo creo que es mejor que hablamos un inglés perfecto que un español mediocre. Okay, entonces vamos a empezar con un video corto que les da una idea de cómo es la Universidad de Auckland y la y qué tal. Da eh, una ventana a cómo es Auckland también, ¿no? Y luego de eso vamos a seguir con un PowerPoint sobre todos los cursos, los procesos de aplicación y, por supuesto las becas. Entonces vamos a empezar, Cristian, por favor, con el video. Stage, shall we go to the presentation? Okay, guys, so let's begin with the presentation. Thanks, Christian. Okay, so we really need to start first of all with talking about where New Zealand is, because you guys have maps that are centered in the Atlantic Ocean, whereas we have a map that's centered in the Pacific Ocean, which when you look at the map like we look at it, we all of a sudden realize that New Zealand's a lot closer to Mexico than it looks on your map. And in fact, for people in Mexico, it's a big surprise to see that New Zealand is actually closer to Mexico than Australia. So the transport links are pretty good. You can fly direct flight um, uh, from Houston to Auckland. So I think the quickest route is that route. So flying Mexico City to Houston, and then Houston down to Auckland. That's around a 15-hour trip. So it's a pretty that for us is a pretty quick trip from Latin America. The university has a lot of partners around the world. So we've got agreements with 180 partners in 45 different countries. So we're super well connected. We have good connections in Mexico. We have a formal agreement with Tec de Monterrey, and we're looking at starting up another formal agreement with the Ibero. We're also well known to CONACYT in Mexico, and we recognise about currently around 30 Mexican universities. Okay, so the question is why study in New Zealand, and here is the answer. So, particularly with our university, it's a top 100 university, so that puts it in the top 100 in the world. We've got fantastic lifestyle here. The qualification that you'll be graduating with is recognized around the world. We have a great reputation with local employers, and I'll talk about that in a few moments. And we're a very safe place to live as well. Just looking at the culture in New Zealand, it's important to, I guess, 20 years ago, it was very much a bicultural country. So you would have seen lots of Europeans on the street, people that look like me, and also our indigenous population called the Māori. But over the last 20 years, 30 years, society in New Zealand has changed a lot. Auckland is now the biggest Polynesian city in the world. So we have a huge representation of Polynesian culture here, particularly in Auckland. And we've also had a lot of immigration from pretty much everywhere else. New Zealand is now one of the most multicultural countries on earth. And Auckland itself is hugely multicultural. And in fact, when we talk about the cultures in Auckland, we are truly a global city. So 40% of the people that live in Auckland were born in another country. So if you think about that a little bit, imagine if almost half the people in Mexico City were born in other countries. It would truly change the shape of what your city looks like as it has here. Which is a change in our case, a change for the best, because we love and we are very welcoming to people from other cultures, from Asian cultures, from Latin American cultures, from African cultures. I personally live in a suburb which has a lot of Latinos, has a lot of Filipinos in it, and we can see that represented in particularly in the cultural activities that these resident cultures maintain here in Auckland, and the food and the attendance at church, etc., etc. So it really has made Auckland a fantastic place to be. So here's a look at Auckland from above. So within the dotted line, you can see the university. So we're right in the middle of the city. You can see in the background that we're a city that's located next to the sea. We've got fantastic climate. The climate's quite mild, so in summer it gets up to around 30 degrees. In winter, um, it comes down to around 5 degrees. So we don't really have those extremes of heat like you get in Australia, or extremes of cold like you get in countries like the United States or Canada. So for Latinos, this is a very welcoming climate. And you can see that we are located downtown in the middle of Auckland, which is New Zealand's largest city. So the University of Auckland is by far the largest university in New Zealand. We've got those numbers are out of date now. We've got 44,000 students and 5,000 staff working here at the university. So it's the size of a small town, and it was established in 1883. So we've very much grown up with the city. Here are some of the key facts around the university. So again, this slide needs to be updated. We've got 8,800 international students from over 120 different countries. From Mexico, we've got, I believe, around 50 students in total. We're the highest ranked New Zealand university for graduate employability. So this theme about employability I'm going to talk about is very important for you guys. And as we've seen, we've got 128 partnerships in various parts of the world, including Tec de Monterrey. So here is a look at some of our subject rankings. So these are rankings that are global. So archaeology, number 10 in the world. Education, 17 in the world. So very highly ranked. I'll just give you a second to take a look at those. Okay, and another look at some of our top 100 rankings. So you can see that pretty much most of the subjects that we teach are in the top 100 in the world. Okay, so I talked about employability, and that's a thing that's super important for us here in New Zealand. We currently have for students that are studying a degree here at the university, you currently have work rights to stay in New Zealand after you finish your studies for 3 years on an open work visa. Okay, so you can study for 1 year, for 2 years, or for 3 years, or for 5 years. Any course duration, if it's at degree level, and that can be a first degree, or it can be a master's degree, or a PhD, you are able to stay in New Zealand for 3 years on an open visa. That means it's not tied to any employer. So we consider that these are by far the best work rights in the world. So that's after your studies are completed, right? During your studies, you're also able, master students are able to work for 20 hours per week while you're studying. And PhD students, you do not have any restrictions on the hours that you work. You can, if you have a research project and you are required to work full time on that for 40 hours per week, you can do so without any problem. Okay. Also important for Latino students is the fact that you can bring your family with you while you study. So your children are able to attend our local New Zealand schools without paying the matricula. You will be classed as, well, they will be classed as domestic students, and they'll just be paying the normal, what we pay, which is like a voluntary contribution. So I have 2 kids, and I spend around 1,000 New Zealand dollars per year. And that's in things like uniform and the voluntary contribution. If you are coming with a partner, if you are married, your partner can come for the same duration of visa that you have as a student, and they are able to work without restriction. So they will have a work visa for the same time that you are in the country. So that includes the 3-year period after you complete your degree. So yeah, it's a very attractive offer in terms of working while you study and working after you study. Okay, and important to point out that we are extremely highly ranked with global employers. So our ranking globally with the big employers is number 73 at present. So number 73 in the world. So that means the diploma, the university degree that you get from the University of Auckland will be highly regarded throughout the world. Okay, scholarships. We have an agreement with CONACYT. At present, CONACYT offer 20 full scholarships for PhD students. So if there are any students that are interested in studying PhD listening to this webinar, that means that you'll get the standard CONACYT study abroad allowance. That includes domestic tuition fee, living expenses, air travel, and that will be paid for up to 4 years. So fantastic full ride scholarship for students to study PhD if you get that support from CONACYT. CONACYT will also support master's degrees, but not on they support master's degrees, master's study abroad through their the state agreements that they have with CONACYT and the state governments, right? So you need to check out the CONACYT website to see if your state has support from CONACYT for master's degree. I know that CONACYT told me that for Ciudad de Mexico, they are not currently offering full support for master's degrees at present, unfortunately. We also have scholarships that you can access. So probably the most useful scholarship is the one mentioned at the top here. It's called the University of Auckland International Student Excellence Scholarship. That's valued at 10,000 New Zealand dollars for, it can be for undergraduate programs for 1 year, right? Or for postgraduate diploma or master's programs, okay? So that functions like a $10,000 discount on the first payment that you make on the first year, okay? So it's not every year, it's just on the first year. And that is basically you do need to apply for that once you have made an application, and Christian and the others at Destinos can help you through the application process. So if you do have a good GPA from Mexico, so I would say 8.2 or higher, I would encourage you to apply for the scholarship. You stand a really good chance of getting one. Do note that it's for masters that are taught, so that's maestría por curso. This is not for maestría por investigación, okay? If you want to do a master's with a thesis, that does not apply, okay? Most of the other faculties of the university also offer scholarships. So if you want to study business, we have a $30,000 scholarship there. You can see the arts faculty has a $10,000 scholarship. We've got a scholarship for creative arts as well. So yeah, you can see that there is a URL at the bottom of your screen. So click into there and you can actually search through the scholarships database, but there are certainly plenty of scholarships available for Mexican students. Okay, so we have a really good website, and I'm about to go through the programs that we offer, but it's important to point out that we have something called the study options pages, and every program that we have has a page with all of this information available. So do take some time to look through the study options pages in the University of Auckland website. Okay, so let's talk about the programs now. So our arts faculty is ranked 28th in the world, and these are the kind of areas that we tend to specialize in. So development studies, translation, applied linguistics. From Mexico, media, film and television and screen production is very popular. Anthropology, of course, is important. Politics and museums and cultural heritage as well. We do have Mexican students studying management of museum collections, which is important for you guys. So some of the popular programs, probably in masters, we have a Master of Conflict and Terrorism Studies, which is extremely interesting and very fast growing. Master of Teaching English to Speakers of Other Language, Master of Public Policy, and also in there, the Bachelor of Global Studies is an increasingly popular program for undergraduates. Okay, moving on. This is our business school, so it has a Triple Crown accreditation. So it's ranked number 43 in the world for business and in the top 100 for economics. So it's an excellent business school. These are the subjects that we study. So these are all pretty much the standard subjects. We do have a property degree, which is quite unique, and that's really at undergraduate level. So we have a Bachelor of Property, and you can see the other master's degrees there as well. One degree that is not mentioned there is our new MBA degree. So we've just launched an MBA degree, and that is now available to international students as well. Okay, so that's the business school. Creative arts and industries. In addition to the traditional artes plásticas, we have a very good school of architecture in our creative arts and industries faculty. Probably of most interest to Mexican students is urban planning and urban design. One of our strengths in urban planning and urban design is basically looking at smart cities, looking at infrastructure, looking at roading. So I know that in Ciudad de Mexico, it's particularly of great interest to you guys at the moment. So these are the degrees that we have on the left. Of most interest, I think, are the Master of Architecture and Master of Urban Planning degrees. Okay, and moving on to education and social work. So globally ranked very highly, we're at 17 in the world. We do get quite a few people coming from Latin America to do PhDs with us because of that high ranking. We teach all disciplines, so early childhood education, primary teaching, secondary teaching, social work, and physical education as well. So these are the programs that we offer. Of particular interest to Mexicans is the graduate diploma in teaching. It's a great opportunity for those of you that have an undergraduate degree to come. If you've got your licenciado or licenciatura from Mexico, you can come and do a 1-year graduate diploma in teaching in primary or in early childhood education, and you will be able to enter into and get registration as a New Zealand teacher and work after that 1-year program. So fantastic opportunity for experienced teachers from Mexico. You will obviously, to be a teacher in New Zealand, you will need a high level of English though. So all of the programs in this particular faculty require an IELTS of 7. Okay, so engineering, probably our most popular faculty with Mexican students, ranked 84th in the world. Um, so these are some of the degrees that we offer. We offer a Master of Engineering Project Management, Master of Engineering Studies, Master of Energy is always super popular with Mexican students, Master of Disaster Management, and one that's not mentioned on the slide, we've got a new master's degree in earthquake engineering. So that's of special interest to Mexican students as well. We have these standard specializations, so biomedical, chemical, civil, environmental, computers, electrical, engineering, mechatronics, mechanical, and software. So that's our engineering school. We also have a law school. Probably won't be anyone here interested in law. Perhaps somebody interested in international law. We do offer for international students a Master of Laws degree. If you are interested in law, please let me know at the end of the presentation. I'll talk about that. So moving on to our medical and health sciences faculty, ranked 78th in the world for life sciences and medicine. So these are our key programs. They're health sciences, medical science, medicine, nursing, optometry, public health, and pharmacy. Most students from South America are interested in doing a master's degree. In fact, we've got a couple of Mexicans that are currently doing our Master of Health Leadership program, which is an excellent program. The Master of Health Leadership, Master of Health Sciences, and Master of Public Health are not clinical degrees, so you do not need to be registered as a doctor here in New Zealand. You're welcome to apply for these programs, whether you are a registered doctor or not. Okay, so moving on, there are the 6 schools that we've been talking about. And our final faculty is science. So this is actually our biggest faculty, our fastest growing faculty. We've got nearly 50 subjects in the science faculty. We're very strong in biological health and life sciences. So we teach those in conjunction with the medical school. Chemical, physical sciences, earth and environmental sciences, human, social, and behavioral sciences, including psychology, and particularly mathematical and computational sciences. So let's take a look at some of the programs. So a Master of Science is our normal science degree. That's a 1-year program, and you can choose from those different or papers from those different disciplines. We have a Master of Environmental Science, a Master of Information Technology. That degree is a very cool degree because it also has a pasantía, which forms part of the program. So that pasantía is for 3 months, and it is actually, we do actually pay like a stipend. We pay, I think, 5,000 New Zealand dollars to students that are doing that pasantía. So it's a really super good way of actually getting work experience here in New Zealand. And then we've had really good outcomes for students that have completed that degree. I think something like 80% of the students that do the pasantía get a job offer with the same employer that they do the pasantía. So we're particularly proud of that at the moment. Next year, we're launching new data science and analytics degrees as well, both at bachelor level and at master's level. So very strong in computing and data science analytics. Okay, so just moving on. PhD study is really interesting in New Zealand because in New Zealand, it's government policy to only charge international students domestic tuition fees, right? So a domestic tuition fee to do a PhD in New Zealand is around 5,000 US dollars, which is, fantastic price. In Australia, for instance, I think it's around 35,000 Australian dollars. So yeah, that's at least 20,000 US dollars. So here in New Zealand, a quarter of that price. So it's really equivalent to the same. It's pretty much the same price as you're paying in one of your top Mexican universities, private universities. But remember that we have an agreement with CONACYT for PhDs, which will continue, and CONACYT will pay that domestic tuition fee, right? So that if you're planning to do PhD, New Zealand is by far the best place to come and do it. And obviously, doing a PhD at this university is a great proposal because we are so highly ranked. Nearly half, just to give you an idea, nearly half of our students here are from overseas now. So there's a huge number of international students that do PhDs here. We love it because it brings in students from many, many different countries. Okay, so we've been talking about affordable fees. There's a website there, the Find a Thesis website. So if you want to click into that, there is the URL. This is like a search engine for finding a potential supervisor for you. It's super important to remember that at the University of Auckland, we are a little bit different to other universities around the world in that you should not wait to be contacted by your potential supervisor. You're welcome to contact them, but we encourage you to go ahead with your application and not to wait for a response from your supervisor. Okay, as part of your application process, you will fill out a field where you will say, I would prefer to be supervised by tal persona, and you fill that in as part of your application process. The reason that we tell you not to wait for the potential supervisor is because we want you to get on with your application, right? And obviously these people, the potential supervisors, get contacted by people from around the world, so we don't want you to wait for them to respond. We don't want you to hold up your application to do that. They will contact you in their own time. Okay, so I hope that's clear. We also pay $2,900 a year for a contribution for conferences and travel to around the country, accommodation, and your laboratory costs if you're working in a scientific discipline. Okay, so PhD study, just like with masters, you can bring your spouse on a work visa, put your spouse to work. Your dependent children will receive the same schooling benefits as New Zealand children. Okay, so you think about the price that you pay to put your kids into a colegio bilingüe in Mexico, and there's already a huge saving there. State education here in New Zealand is free. Okay. All right. So campus life. We've got all of the amenities there. Beautiful campus. We've got really a great level of support for academic support, for English language support as well, disability services. So it's a top university in terms of student support and international student support. So we can help you with queries about health, visas, budgeting, and all of those normal things. We also have a career development and employment services section. So these are the people that Their job is to help you to find work. So it's a great service. They can help you with your CV. They can give you um, an orientation about, how to conduct interviews. They will also put you in contact with local employers as well. This service is open to students for 3 years after they graduate, and this service costs no money. It's completely free. So, fantastic opportunity to connect with prospective employers. Okay, so let's move on. And we've got a full range of accommodation. So we've got accommodation for individual students, for couples. We've also got accommodation available for families. Probably the cheapest way of getting accommodation is to get an apartment downtown in the city. Um, there's a ton of apartment buildings around the university. Um, Latino families generally come, couples come and share an apartment with other couples. So basically, all of the facilities in the apartment are shared. And with a private bedroom, obviously, and that way you can have 2 or 3 couples sharing an apartment, and that's a great way to save money. Okay, and we look forward to welcoming you to the University of Auckland. So at this stage, Christian, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Great, thank you, Shane. ¿Qué tal? Buenas noches a todos los que se fueron conectando a lo largo del seminario. Mi nombre es Cristian Rodríguez, representante de Destino Australia y Nueva Zelanda. Soy un asesor educativo, para lo cual les podemos ayudar a obtener su inscripción o su aceptación, mejor dicho, para la Universidad de Auckland, ¿no? A lo largo de la presentación, Shane les platicó sobre los programas de beca que ofrece la universidad, los programas de licenciatura, de posgrado o doctorado a los que pueden llegar a aplicar. Nosotros con gusto les ayudaremos en su proceso de aplicación, o incluso si tienen alguna duda sobre el proceso, de cómo funciona, los requerimientos de cada programa, los documentos necesarios para poder aplicar. Será un placer ayudarles con dicho proceso. Obviamente sabemos que tienen dudas sobre cómo se lleva a cabo el proceso, si tienen el programa que están buscando, ¿no? Nosotros les podemos ayudar, o mejor dicho, guiarlos a darles diferentes opciones a los cuales pueden aplicar. A lo mejor no tienen pensado de inicio algún momento en algún programa que estén interesados, pero a través de la página de la universidad será una tarea bastante sencilla de realizar. Por favor, si tienen alguna duda de la presentación, con gusto es momento de resolverlas, o del proceso también anímense. Abraham nos comentaba cuál es la ruta más óptima, por así decirlo, de cómo llegar a Nueva Zelanda. Sí, él había puesto un ejemplo que decía Ciudad de México, Los Ángeles, Auckland.
Yeah, so that is it's a pretty quick way. So the other option I mentioned before was to fly to. I actually prefer to fly to Houston, and then from Houston there's a direct flight straight through to Auckland. So that is Houston to Auckland, 13 hours. Ciudad de Mexico a Houston's 2 hours. So that's a pretty quick route as well. So I would say those 2 routes via Houston or via Los Angeles are the best way to go. Los Angeles may be a little bit cheaper.
Bueno, Abraham, tienes la respuesta, que también puedes tomar como opción la ruta de Los Ángeles. Puede ser un poquito más barata. Solo quiero hacer la mención aquí que si quieres hacer la ruta vía Estados Unidos, vas a necesitar tener la visa americana, solo para que lo tengas en cuenta. Y bueno, además también de que nosotros también les vamos a ayudar con la visa estudiante. Eso en Destino Australia y Nueva Zelanda los vamos a estar apoyando. Les vamos a indicar cuál es el proceso a seguir para que la obtengan de forma más rápida posible, que es un proceso que suele tardar alrededor de 4 a 6 semanas. Y bueno, siguiente pregunta, la señorita Ángeles Arellano. ¿Hay límite de edad para emigrar a Australia o a Nueva Zelanda en este caso? Sí, adelante, Sean.
No.
Exactamente.
Yeah. So
No,
I don't know about Australia, but in New Zealand, no, not at all. And there's no age limit for a student visa as well. So yeah, it's if you are thinking about the possibility of staying in New Zealand, we welcome people, particularly people that have studied at New Zealand universities. Uh, we understand that international students bring a lot of value to our country, and that's the reason that last year we changed the law to allow university graduates to be able to stay in New Zealand, because that will then give you work experience, which will then give you, extra puntahe when it comes to the time to apply for your residence here in New Zealand. So at least in New Zealand, everybody is welcome, and there's no. If you're paying for a university degree in New Zealand, here on a student visa, yeah, there is absolutely no limit. The only limit, the big limit, of course, is the money and English. So obviously, that tends to be the biggest barrier to Latinos. So once you've got your English language at a good level, and you're able to access funding. So that might be through Conaseat, or it could be through one of those scholarships that we mentioned. Or through a family loan. Once you get yourself here, that's the big barrier, really.
es correcto. Es importante mencionar que cada programa, ya sea para una licenciatura, una maestría, un doctorado, el estudiante necesita tener cierto nivel de inglés. Esto se comprueba a través de una certificación como es el TOEFL IBT o el IELTS Academic. El puntaje aprobatorio para cada programa varía, además de que necesitan tener un GP mínimo para aplicar a cada programa, ¿no? También es importante mencionar que, sobre todo para las personas que no tengan el nivel necesario, pueden tomar clases de inglés en la misma universidad. Se les puede llegar a preparar con unas semanas de inglés previo al inicio de su programa de lección. Esto en la Escuela de Idiomas de la Universidad, que se llama ELA. Bueno, Mariana Merlos dice que si necesita experiencia laboral para aplicar a un máster. Sí es una buena recomendación que ya tengas una experiencia laboral, sobre todo en el ámbito relacionado al área de estudio, ¿no? Porque luego, por ejemplo, están trabajando en un área de marketing, pero quieren estudiar un máster en ciencias.
Yeah. Okay.
Y eso no es como suficiente background, ¿no? Laboral,
Mhm.
pero sí es bueno que tengas experiencia laboral. En algunos casos es entendible que no tengas, ¿no? Por ejemplo, si estás terminando la licenciatura recién egresado y quieres irte a estudiar la maestría, pues a lo mejor has trabajado medio tiempo, pero pues no tienes un verdadero background o un verdadero perfil laboral. Entonces hay que estar viendo qué opciones te funcionan, pero te puedo decir yo que los requisitos necesarios sí o sí fuertes, que tengas un buen promedio general, es decir, 8.5 para arriba, y que cumplas con la certificación del inglés, y a partir de ahí no deberías de tener mayor problema para obtener tu aceptación a cualquier programa.
One point to make, Christian, uh, it really depends on having experiencia laboral. Really depends on what degree you're planning to study. In some master's degrees, it will actually shorten the amount of time that you're required to study. Okay, so one good example is the Master of Information Technology. If you're coming to a Master of Information Technology and you're coming at that from a marketing background, if you've got no experience, that Master of Information Technology, yes, you can join it and you can graduate with a Master of Information Technology, but that will take you 2 years. Okay. If you come to that same degree and you have a an undergraduate degree and you have good work experience working in IT, then that same degree will only take you 1 year. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is sometimes in some degrees, work experience will reduce the amount of time that you need to study.
Bueno, básicamente lo que nos explica Shane es que a través de la experiencia laboral puedes disminuir la duración del curso en cuestión, ¿no? De tu interés. Puede ser que, como bien mencionaba, el curso te puede durar 2 años y a través de tu experiencia laboral puedes disminuir un semestre, es decir, 1,5 años. Eso obviamente te ayuda sobre todo a disminuir obviamente el tiempo, pero el costo del programa, ¿no? Lo cual sí les haría un gran favor a los estudiantes y sobre todo para que puedan calcular sus costos. Eh, Mauricio Treviño nos pregunta cuáles son los requerimientos para entrar a una licenciatura en ciencias. Bueno, básicamente los requerimientos es que ya estés titulado de tu bachillerato, que tengas tu título en el idioma español, traducido al inglés por un perito oficial traductor, que tengas tu certificación del inglés, presentar tal vez un CV en inglés, que también digo, es lo que platicamos hace un momento, ¿no? Que a lo mejor no tienen la experiencia laboral como tal, o per se, pero se puede llegar a presentar. Cartas de recomendación pueden ser, en este caso, académicas, y meter tu aplicación a través de Destino Australia, ¿no? Pues estamos certificados con la Universidad de Auckland para apoyar al estudiante y que el proceso te sea mucho más fácil o accesible. Al final daré nuestro correo de contacto para que nos puedan escribir con cualquier o con más dudas sobre el proceso para llevar a cabo las admisiones a la universidad. Luego, Abraham nos dice que está interesado en un PhD en ciencias marinas. Sería que lleve a cabo su proceso. Te diríamos, Abraham, comenzar con la recolección de tus documentos para comenzar el proceso. Se sube tu aplicación al sistema de la universidad y una vez que tú ya tienes tu carta oferta, procederías a buscar a tu supervisor, que era lo que nos explicaba Shane en la presentación, para que podamos ahorrar ese tiempo y no estés como tú tanto tiempo a la espera. Simplemente se te asigna un supervisor que esté relacionado al área de tu interés o a tu área de investigación y él te va a decir como tips o te va a hacer comentarios de tu proyecto, de tu investigación y te va a decir que efectivamente puede ser tu supervisor. Y una vez que ya tengas ese go o esa aceptación por parte del supervisor, ya vas a poder continuar con tu proceso sin ningún problema.
It's important to outline that to be able to study a PhD, obviously, you will have needed to have completed a maestría, okay? And as part of that master's degree, you will need to be able to show that you have done a significant amount of research, okay? So a PhD, as you know, is a research degree. So you need to be able to show that you have written a thesis, okay? And had some considerable experience on a research topic. You do not translate your thesis. You can just translate the abstract, okay? And when you apply for a PhD, la propuesta that you write, it only needs to be a couple of paragraphs, okay? Do not write a huge propuesta, una página no más, 1 page, no more, okay? But Christian can help you with that.
Así es, justamente eso es algo bueno que menciona Shane, que no tienen que mandar a traducir, por ejemplo, toda su tesis, que normalmente algunas son muy largas, entonces eso es bastante pesado. Solo se recomienda traducir el abstracto, ¿no? Donde se engloba exactamente de qué va su proyecto, de qué funciona, qué resultados esperan obtener y cómo los esperan obtener, ¿no? Eso es lo importante y a partir de ahí el supervisor evaluará si les puede apoyar o no, además de presentar el proyecto de investigación, que también puede ser una página exagerando 2. Eso les va a ayudar para tener un mejor perfil y una mejor aplicación a la universidad. Alma Angélica nos dice, ¿qué hay sobre estancias postdoctorales en veterinaria?
Veterinaria?
Sí, veterinary.
That is one of the only um, subjects that we don't teach here, actually. So, in the University of Auckland, we do not teach veterinary science. Um, so, the best university for that is Massey University. And the other subject that we don't teach here is odontologia, okay, dentistry,
Ujú.
and that is Otago University. So, yeah, I'm sorry, vet science we do not teach.
Ok.
But if sorry, is it Angelica? If she does want to apply to Massey University to do that PhD, Angelica, you speak English, I'm sure. You obviously will be paying those domestic fees, only $5,000. So yeah, so go ahead and apply.
Yeah. Geraldine Padilla dice que ya tiene su supervisor para el PhD. ¿Cuál es el proceso a seguir para ser admitido al programa?
Okay, so the next, you've got a supervisor set, make your application, talk to Christian. Christian will help you make the application, okay?
Abraham, que si hay scholarships para, bueno, becas para los estudiantes de posgrado en ciencias marinas. Esto aplicaría lo que nos explicaste a lo largo de la presentación, ¿no?
Yep. Okay.
Además,
Yeah. So
además de... Ya,
he wants to study. He said that he wants to study a PhD. Um, remember, I had talked about the International Student Excellence Scholarship. Those scholarships are for maestria. If you've got your puntaje of 8.5, you stand a good chance of getting one of those. But that is for taught masters, right? Maestría por curso. So yeah, so I'm not sure whether Abraham wants to study a research degree or he wants to study a taught degree. But if he did choose to do a maestría por curso, obviously, and he's got good grades, he could apply for that scholarship, which is $10,000, and he'd be finished his program in 1 year. And after that, obviously able to stay in New Zealand for up to 3 years afterwards.
sí, eso es una gran ventaja, que disminuyeran el tiempo de estudio. Geraldine nos pregunta que vio que el agreement que tiene la universidad con CONACYT termina este año. Pregunta si se va a expandir el agreement o cómo va a funcionar la
Yeah,
relación con CONACYT.
yeah. So the relation with CONACYT will continue, and PhDs. They've told us PhDs are assured. I'm working to try and get an agreement for maestries as well. So yeah, wish me luck.
Buena suerte. Valeria, ¿no hay diferencia entre TOEFL IBT y el IELTS académico o se prefiere uno más que otro? En este caso son las certificaciones que más aceptan las universidades, tanto en Australia como en Nueva Zelanda. La diferencia es cómo te adaptes tú al examen. A algunos se les presenta más fácil el TOEFL y a otros se les presenta más fácil el IELTS. Lo que hay que tener presente es el puntaje aprobatorio que necesitas en cada uno de acuerdo al programa de tu interés. Pero no debe de haber ningún problema con ninguna de las dos certificaciones. De hecho, incluso me parece que la universidad acepta otras certificaciones. Esto se ve en los requerimientos en la página y literalmente sale un listado de cuáles son las certificaciones que puedes presentar y a partir de ahí revisamos el puntaje, pero no hay ningún problema.
Yep. So we accept IELTS, we accept TOEFL IBT, we accept paper-based TOEFL as well. We accept Cambridge. We accept Pearson's Test of English, Michigan. So there's plenty of and we don't favour any in particular. If you are going to do a preparation course, my recommendation, because it prepares you well for academic studies, would be academic IELTS. That would be my recommendation. Not just to pass to get the puntaje that you need, but as part of the process of preparing yourself to academically to deal with your studies.
Leonardo, ¿cuál sería la edad permitida para estudiar una de sus especializaciones de ingeniería? Por ejemplo, mecatrónica. ¿Hay algunos requerimientos para estudiar estas especializaciones? No hay un límite de edad, pero la pregunta aquí sería, ¿qué especialización, más bien en qué nivel de estudio requiere la especialización? ¿Estás interesado en estudiar una licenciatura o estudiar una maestría? En ese caso puede haber tal vez alguna variación de los requerimientos mínimos, pero a nivel académico. Y tal vez un poco de tu CV o de tu experiencia laboral también pueden contar. Mauricio Treviño nos pregunta, ¿tiene vinculación con la Universidad de La Salle? Creo que solo la tienen con el TEC, ¿no, Shane?
Just with the tech at the moment, yeah.
Okay.
But can you give me one second? We have some universities which we know really well, and we recognize them as being equal in terms of their academic
Okay.
standards. So just give me a second. I'm just looking right now to see which ones those are. So, and what I want to see is if La Salle is on that list. So let me check for you.
Okay.
I'm looking now. Okay. Okay, I'm looking right now. No, okay, La Salle is not on the list, but that doesn't mean that we won't recognize your first degree. You should go ahead and apply. If you've got a good grade point average from La Salle, and by that I would say 8.5 or higher, then you will still probably get an offer. Okay. If you went to another university that is on the list, for instance, we've got all of the big universities. So let's say that you went to Tech, or if you went to Anahuac, or if you went to ITAM or UNAM, that means your grade point average will be calculated by us to be even higher. Okay. Maybe you need to explain that, Christian.
Sí, bueno, la universidad tiene un sistema de cálculo que tiene como medida diferentes universidades. Hablas del grupo TEC, de ITAM, de la NAWAC, por así decirlo, que si eres egresado de esas universidades, ellos ya tienen exactamente bien establecido cuál es el límite o el requerimiento que necesitas para ser aceptado en cuanto al promedio general académico, pero aún así, obviamente, tú puedes presentar tu título y tu tira de materias donde viene establecido tu promedio y se toma como una escala, o mejor dicho, es un comparativo que también te permite tener ese resultado favorable, ¿no? Para que pueda ser aceptado en la universidad. No hay ningún problema, tú puedes aplicar literalmente de cualquier universidad en la que hayas estudiado, un ejemplo como tú lo mencionas de La Salle, pero así mismo funciona con otras universidades, ¿no? En el mismo caso, Mauricio dice que si ya empezó su carrera en México, me imagino que en La Salle, es posible revalidar materias. This means about a credit transfer. Sí podría ser considerado, obviamente, que hayas cursado materias, pero en el caso de que, por ejemplo, tú estás estudiando, por ejemplo, ciencias y te vas a estudiar marketing a Nueva Zelanda, pues ahí va a ser un poquito complicado que haya esa revalidación de materias, ¿no? Tienes que seguir bajo la misma línea o bajo la misma área de estudio. Pero sí, no te puedo decir que a lo mejor se te van a revalidar todas las materias. Esto depende más del syllabus, es decir, qué se imparte en cada materia, cuál es el programa de estudios que lleva cada materia, y ya en base a ello ya se determinará cuáles son las materias que sí se te revalidan y cuáles no.
Okay, Christian, so I've got time actually for one more question. I've got to
Ya,
head away, so
ya. La última pregunta, vamos con igual Mauricio, si tiene especialidades y maestrías en psicología o si tiene la carrera de ingeniería genética.
ingeniería, ¿qué?
Genética. Es
Genetics,
para...
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely in genetics, that's a strong research area for us. The other one was it psychology? We teach psychology in two areas. We teach psychology in our arts faculty, and also we teach psychology in the science faculty as well. So you can choose to study psychology in arts or science. The reason to do that is perhaps you've been trained in psychology like as a scientific discipline. So people that are interested in studying neuropsychology, for example, would study that in science. Or if you're like me, your psychology might be more oriented towards organizational psychology. In my case, I studied organizational psychology and then became a marketer. So I would study psychology from the arts perspective because that means that the other subjects as part of my master's degree can be studied in, in those disciplines.
Right. Sorry, Shane. One last question
Sure.
for Khalid. For the Master Bioscience Enterprise, is there any agreement besides FUNED CONACYT as this is a third master?
If it's a taught master, you'll
Mhm.
be able to, and it is, you will be able to apply for the International Student Excellence Scholarship. Okay. So and in fact, we have somebody from Colombia that won one of those scholarships and is now studying that degree. So if you've got a GPA of 8.5, I would say you stand an excellent chance of getting that scholarship.
Perfecto. Pues muchas gracias, Shane, por tu tiempo, por la presentación, por responder las preguntas a los estudiantes. También muchas gracias a los asistentes. Les compartí un correo donde nos pueden dejar más preguntas en caso de que no se les ocurrieran ahorita. También pueden revisar la repetición del seminario. Y bueno, será un gusto apoyarlos en su proceso de irse a estudiar a Nueva Zelanda. Quedo pendiente de sus dudas o comentarios y que pasen una excelente noche. Shane, muchas gracias por tu tiempo. Que tengas un buen día ya jueves.
Ujú.
Nos estamos viendo. Recibe un saludo.
Bueno, muchas gracias por la invitación, Cristian, y a todos un gran saludo aquí en Auckland. Aquí eh, les estamos esperando y cualquier duda, por favor, acuérdese que Destinos es uno de nuestros representantes legales allí en México. Con toda confianza pueden trabajar con ellos, son excelentes, ¿ok? Bueno, hasta luego, chao.
Bye, Shane.